Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SaaS Masters podcast. I am very excited for our first season. Hooray! Welcome, everybody. This is our first season. I will be your host, Annie Canoe. In this first season, we're going to be covering, or I will be going through questions that you will ask as you go through the Meta Ads program. So, this first season is focused on the Meta Ads program. All right. I hope you're excited. I am excited. So, before we begin, I just want to give disclaimers or just an understanding for everybody that to have. All right. First thing is that the program is the Meta Ads program, and the first season of the SaaS Masters podcast is focused on the Meta Ads program. So every episode is going to focus on every chapter in the Meta Ads program. So episode 1, this first episode, will be answering questions that I know you might have as you go through chapter 1 of the Meta Ads program. All right. Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means that the podcast is only accessible to students of the Meta Ads program. So SaaS Masters are the only ones who can get access to these full episodes. All right. Next thing is you will not be able to go through or to listen in podcast episode 6 if you haven't gone through chapter 6 of the Meta Ads program. Do we have an agreement, or can you understand what I'm saying? What I'm trying to mean is I want you to receive this information in a way that will not be overwhelming, in a way that will also be very flowy, very intuitive, so that you can be able to grasp all the information I've shared with you without giving up and without feeling like it's too much. So you won't be able to get access to episode 6 of the SaaS Masters podcast if you haven't gone through chapter 6 of the Meta Ads program. All right. So if you decide to sit down and do the Meta Ads program in one full day, and you can, or you decide to give yourself 2 days to finish the Meta Ads program, then that means you'll have complete full access to the SaaS Masters podcast season 1. All right. I hope we have that clear. Now, let's get into the first episode. I'm very excited. This is something that I have been doing, or I have been taking steps to do since 2023. But we're finally here, and I am finally recording. So let's get into it. Now, first things first, let's answer the first question. Our first question: what's the importance of knowing my margin before starting Meta Ads? The importance of knowing your margin before you start Meta Ads is your margin helps you understand your profit. And your profit is just basically how much you're making after every sale. And when I say how much you're making after every sale, I mean after you've sold, after you have removed all your costs, you've removed all the expenses that it cost you to actually make that sale. How much you make after is what profit is. Okay, so knowing your margin helps you figure out your profit. After you figure out your profit, then you'll be able to figure out what your break-even ROAS is. All right, and what exactly is break-even ROAS? This we covered in the first chapter of the Meta Ads program, so I'm so sure you guys have an understanding of that. Now, after you understand your break-even ROAS, what you'll also be able to do is you'll be able to calculate your target ROAS. All right, so we have that understanding that you have your profit, which helps you calculate your break-even ROAS, which helps you calculate your target ROAS. All right, and target ROAS is basically the target that you want to reach when you're running ads. Now, having all this information before you get started with ads is essential, because what it does is it helps you make the right decisions when you're running your ads, so that you can ensure that you're making money and you're not losing money. So all in all, it's just to ensure profitability. All right. Yes. So that's what that's why you should know your margin before getting started. Next, we have, how do I use the margin sheet to calculate my target ROAS? Now, the margin sheet is accessible to the students who have bought the program who have taken the option of the program with the worksheets. Now, how do you actually use the margin sheet to calculate your target ROAS? Once you have your margin sheet, you input all your values. You input your costs, your COGS, your operating expenses. Then you'll be able to populate how much your profit. You'll be able to calculate how much your profit is, what your break even is. Now, after you have used your margin sheet to calculate what your break even ROAS is, then you can be able to now set a target ROAS based off of your break-even ROAS. So the margin sheet helps you calculate your break-even ROAS, and then using your break-even ROAS and the understanding of the goal that you want to reach. For example, I know I want to make maybe 20% profit off of what I'm selling, or I want to make 40% profit off of what I'm selling, then I'll use that knowledge to set my target ROAS. So for example, if my break-even ROAS is at 2.4, then I'll know that if, for example, my goal is to get to okay, there's a formula that you can use. I've just thought of, maybe I should give you the formula, because if you just say, if you just put a random number of my break even is 2.4, and then I put a random number of 4.4, I would know what percentage of profit that is. So how do you actually calculate? Do you have a pen and paper? Just write it beside your notes that you took when going through your okay. You're still there with me? I was just pulling it up. Now, write this on your notes. To calculate your target ROAS, you'll just say selling price, the selling price of your product, divided by selling price minus your cost of goods, other costs, and desired profit per sale. Okay, once you have that number, you'll be able to set your target ROAS. So the information that you need is, you remember when we were calculating your break-even ROAS, we added cost of goods, we added operating expense, all the expenses. Now what we are adding plus that is the desired profit per sale. So you can just do this separately with your calculator. You just do selling price of the product divided by the selling price minus cost of goods. The selling price minus cost of goods, other costs, and desired profit. And then that is the number that will be your new target ROAS. All right? Okay. I hope that is clear. If it's not clear, the community is there for you to ask questions and for you to ask questions and for them to get answered. All right? Okay, let's see. What's the next question? Our next question is question number 3. What is the difference between break-even ROAS and target ROAS? This is a good question. It will give you clarity. The difference between break-even ROAS and target ROAS is break-even ROAS is the point at which you've run your ads, you've made sales, and you've actually just gotten to the point where the money you've made can cover all your costs, but is not making you money. You get it? You're not taking anything home. So you've just been able to cover your overhead, your expenses, pay everything, but you have not been able to make money. So that's what break-even ROAS is. But target ROAS is now there. Target is now you've broken even. That is, you've covered all your costs and you've made money on top of that. You get it? So it's like you have break even where you're breaking even, and target ROAS where you're hitting your target goals in terms of revenue. So you're making money. All right? Yeah. Next question, number 4. Can you explain some key terms like click-through rate, CPC, and CPA and how they relate to profitability? So we have CTR, CPC, and CPA and how they relate to profitability. Click-through rate, as we said, is the rate at which people are clicking on your ad. How does this relate to profitability? The more clicks you get, the higher your chances of getting, the more clicks you get, the more landing pages you get, and the more sales you'll get, leading to profitability. So the higher your click-through rate, the higher your profitability, because your number of sales will increase, because the number of people going to your website are also increasing. You get me? So it's very much so that you need to ensure that your click-through rate is high, so that you can ensure that the number of landing page views you're getting is high, and also the number of sales will be also high, and meaning that you'll be profitable. So that's how those two relate. Okay, next is CPC, cost per click. Now, cost per click is the cost that you're incurring for every click that you get on your ad. Now, if your cost per click is really high, then at the end of it all, after you get a purchase or a customer, the cost of acquiring that customer will be really high. And that will mean that if your cost per click is really high, your cost of acquiring a customer will also be really high. And if your cost of acquiring a customer is really high, then what does that mean? That means that you're not as profitable as you'd like to be, and your ROAS will be small or will reduce. Okay? So you need to have a really low cost per click, and you get a low cost per click by improving your targeting, improving your creative. Okay, yeah. Next question, cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition, as you can tell from the previous question I've just answered, is how it relates is the higher your cost of acquiring a customer, the lower your profit and the lower your ROAS, meaning you're not that profitable. So you want to keep your cost per acquisition really low, so that you can ensure that you're profitable. So you have to ensure that your cost per acquiring a customer is low. Make sure that every bit of the funnel, every problem you encounter, the way you read your data is accurate, so that you can be able to make good decisions. All right? Yeah. Next question we have, why is setting a target ROAS better than just focusing on ad spend? Now, if you just focus on ad spend without setting a target ROAS, what's going to happen is you're going to be spending money without actually knowing if you're making money or not, right? As we said, margin, we already talked about margin, we talked about profit, we talked about break-even ROAS, we talked about target ROAS. If you do not have all that information and you're just running ads, you're spending money and you're getting sales and all that, yes, you'll be getting sales, but you won't know what's happening in your business. You won't know if you're making money or if you're not. And most likely, you might even be seated, you're making sales, but you know that nothing is improving. Your cost of life, your way of life is not improving. You're like, I am still living the same way. There must be something wrong. And then you might say, oh, let me increase my ad spend so that I can increase my sales. But still, even when you increase your ad spend and you increase your sales, you're not making as much money, or you're not taking home as much money as you'd like. So you keep wondering what's happening. And the main mistake that you'd have made at that point is you wouldn't have calculated your break-even ROAS and your target ROAS. All right? And this is what helps you know what's happening in your business and make informed decisions when you're running ads. Okay? Yes. Next question. Whew. This is really fun. How does knowing my margin help me scale my ads effectively? Again, knowing your margin will help you scale your ads effectively, because as you increase your ad spend, you have your target ROAS, you have your break-even ROAS. So, when you increase your ad spend, what happens is you face you go new level, new devils. Okay? So when you increase your ad spend, what will happen is you'll meet other people who are also running ads, and maybe they're your competitors and all that. So you want to be able to scale your ads effectively by ensuring that you're still staying profitable even as you move to that next level. So the main thing for you here is to ensure that you know your margin, you know your break-even ROAS, you know your target ROAS, so that when you're scaling your ROAS is likely to go low as you increase your ad spend, because you're reaching more people and all that, and you're spending more money. So make sure that you have these numbers in place so that you can make informed decisions while still staying profitable, because you'll be solving new problems at that new level. Okay. Yeah. Question answered. Next question. What should I do if my calculated ROAS is too high to achieve in a competitive market? Now, let's say, for example, you've set a target ROAS, but you can see that it's really high for your market. What you can do first is be a bit more realistic and reduce your profit expectations, or adjust your profit expectations. This is be like, okay, if the competition is really high, then maybe this is the profit that we're expecting, not this. Then you'll be able to set a better, or a more realistic, or a more achievable ROAS. All right. Next is revisit your costs. You can go see what you're spending money on and you don't need. Maybe you don't need a shop, because you can do all these things online, right? So you'll reduce that cost, or you'll do away with that cost, and that will help you improve your target ROAS. Okay. Next is focus on improving your ad creative and your audiences and all that, because that will lead to you getting more sales and you becoming more profitable. All right. So yeah, just those three. You can just maybe be a bit more realistic and adjust your profit expectations based on your market. Next is just revisit your costs. And then the other is your audiences and your creative. Just improve on that, and it will lead to profitability, because as you improve your creative, obviously your click-through rate will improve. As you improve your target audiences, obviously your click-through rate also will improve. Okay. Yeah. Number 8. What are the biggest mistakes to avoid when calculating margin and setting ROAS? Now, the biggest mistakes to avoid when calculating margin and setting ROAS is, one is forgetting to include all your costs. For example, you use Shopify, but you've forgotten that you actually pay for Shopify. So you need to ensure that you've included all your costs as you calculate your margin. So this also includes your taxes and all that. Okay. Next is, how often should I review and adjust my ROAS target? How often? Oh, sorry. Sorry, forgive me. We were answering question 8, and I've gone to number 9 before giving out all the points. That was point number 1, the mistake that you can avoid when calculating margin and setting ROAS. Number 2 is setting an overly ambitious ROAS without market research. This I've already covered in the previous question. So make sure that you set a realistic ROAS, because we always set SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, adjustable, realistic. Realistic is underlined, so that you can actually achieve your goals based on the market that you're trying to reach. Okay. Next is ignoring how scaling impacts costs like CPC and CPA. As I've mentioned, when you scale your ads, you're going into a new level, and there will be an impact to your CPC, your cost per acquisition, because you are facing more competition and your target audience is broader, right? Yeah. Number 9, how often should I review and adjust my ROAS target? This is question number 9. How often should you review and adjust your ROAS target? 1, you should review your targets at least monthly, or in accordance to how you're changing your ad spend, if you're changing your selling price of your product, and how your audience is performing. For example, if you are targeting the Kenyan market, or if you are targeting the Kenyan market 2024, the last quarter, you should expect that you should adjust your ROAS target, mainly because at that period of time, many people weren't really focused on buying products and all that are not essential, because of there was a lot going on in our country. So when you see an adjustment with your audience, you can also change your ROAS target. So just be more flexible with your ROAS target, depending on how your audience is performing, how you're increasing or reducing your ad spend, if you've changed your selling price. And also, what's the other thing I said? Oh yeah, just you can overall look at it monthly, just to based on what's happening and what changes you're making. All right. Yeah, that's question number 9. Our last question is number 10, and it's asking, how do I troubleshoot if I'm not meeting my target ROAS? So I've set my target ROAS as a 4.4, but I'm not able to hit my target ROAS. What should I do? There are a couple of factors you should look at. First off is your audience. How is that doing? Next is your creative. How is that doing? Next is your funnel. This is your website, your landing page, whatever. How is that doing? And once you are able to know that, okay, I'm not hitting my ROAS target, let me look at these 3 bits of the funnel. This is my funnel dashboard. This is like my website. I look at, okay, this is where the drop-offs are happening. This is, people are not completing purchase. They're adding to cart, but they're not completing purchase. Why? Go to the website and look at what problem am I facing at the add to cart to checkout level. Just see that process and see how you can improve it, if that's where the drop-offs are happening. And then you can also come in and look at your creatives and see, okay, I'm getting a really low click-through rate. Why am I getting a low click-through rate? Let me get more creative and create more creatives, right? And test the creatives and see which one will work better. Next is your audiences. Go and look at your audiences, see how they're performing and all that. See, okay, what's happening. Read the data and make informed decisions based off of the data that you have received. Something else that came to mind when I was saying this is sometimes the problem could be not in the creative, not in the audiences, not in the website. It could be maybe your setup of your ad account, the platform issues and all that. So make sure you are aware of that and look into those issues as well if anything comes up. And again, the community is always here for you. If you have any questions, talk to us in the community. We will answer all your questions. We're here for you to support you as you grow your business. Thank you guys for this first episode. It was really fun. I enjoyed myself. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Bye.